coach for personal brands and experts. And I grew up on a farm in Canada, in a small village that only spoke French. So my first language is French. I started my first business when I was 20 years old. I spoke a little bit about my story previously on an interview that I did here last year. So basically, I opened my restaurant when I was 20 years old, and within weeks of opening my restaurant, my mother called me to tell me she had cancer and she was only given a few months left to live. So I sold my shares in the restaurant and I went back to school, and then I decided to start working from my computer because I wanted to be able to spend time with her when she was sick and not have to be in the restaurant or anything else that I knew about back then. So that's how I started my business. It's been 10 years that I've been working online. It's been 10 years that I've done a few businesses in different industries. I had businesses in cryptocurrencies. I've had businesses in health and fitness. I've had businesses in marketing. And now what I do is I help people grow their business online and scale it and automate their income so they can make money on their sleep with something that they already created. That's my zone of genius. I started Zero to CEO Society, my company, to help people that were only starting online and needed the right foundations to make money. So basically, I got everything that I've learned from being in corporate when I was in consultant and from having companies online in the past 10 years. And I created a framework to help people grow their businesses that has 4 pillars. So my framework is called the EMD Framework. The first pillar is the inner game, which is the most important part when you have a business, is to really make sure that you're productive, you manage your time well, you have good habits and routines, and also that your mindset is on abundance and not scarcity. So success mindset is really something that's going to make successful or not. You can have the best business ideas, you can have all the money to invest in the world. If you don't feel like you're successful inside of you, you're never going to be successful. And that comes from someone that went from $0 to $500,000 in 1 year by just changing my mindset. Because I've been successful at everything I've done in my life. I've always made money, and then I've always lost everything because I never thought that success could belong to me. And one day I was like, oh my God, like I'm so tired of this pattern. I know I'm smart and I know that I can create things, but why can't I like create something that's gonna last? So I did a lot of work. I hired coaches, and then I realized that I was not involved for success into my own businesses because I didn't think that success could belong to me as well. So when I changed that, everything changed. And now I'm on to make my first $1 million in my business in 2020. We're gonna hit that before June. So I'm super excited to reach that milestone, and I hope this inspired people to really take the time to do the work inside of you to make sure that it's going to create a legacy for you and your family and the rest of the world, to make a bigger impact and not just a bigger income. So that's the first pillar of EMD Framework. The second pillar is the creation pillar. So what I teach is how to create offers and content that are going to convert and sell out. So how to have like something that's impossible to say no to. So your clients, when they read your sales page or when they look at your programs or at your course, they're like, oh my God, I can't say no to this. I need this in my life immediately. So that's the second pillar of my EMD framework. The third pillar is monetize. Monetize is all about sales and marketing. So how to be visible online, how to make sure that your copy is converting and attracting the right people, how to make sure that you are on positioning yourself as an expert basically online so that people think you're credible and really trust that you're going to offer a solution for real and not just an empty promise. And then the last pillar is scaling, which is what I focus on with my clients as well. So basically scaling means to automate your income by turning some of your offers into evergreen. Sometimes it means to hire the right person to work with you. And that's just it's not as easy as hiring a virtual assistant. You need to hire someone that's going to complement you in your strengths and weaknesses. And to be able to do that, you need to know yourself first, to be able to know what exactly do you need in a team member. and also media features, for example, being booked out on podcasts, being featured into magazines and into big medias. So those are what I focus on the fourth pillar of my EMD framework. So when you put all of them together, you got a success guaranteed.
Excellent. And for all women who are now feeling they are on the stage 0, so they understand there is 4 steps to get to the stage CEO. What will be the first step? What will be the first action they have to take from today after this interview, after this Facebook Live? What will be your advice to them?
So if you're at this stage 0, which means you're still at the wanting to have a business idea and you're not sure what you want to create, you're not yet making money, the first thing that you have to do is really vision mapping. So vision mapping means that you need to get clear about what you want and how you're going to get there before you start doing the thing, because you can't have a business if you don't have a clear idea of what you're going to create. And that is work that you have to do within. So for example, one of the exercises that you can do to do vision mapping is to really visualize what's your perfect day like. What does it look like for you to have a day like? Let's say you're $1 million business owner. What does your day look like? What do you do? Who do you work with? Who are your clients? What do you fix for them? And then when you think about all of that, it's going to become clearer for you to know what exactly you can do and what you should turn into a business when it comes to your ideas.
And once when they know clear what they want to achieve and how, do you recommend to start with online business straightforward, or you recommend first start maybe with offline to test your product or service with a small amount of people and clients?
It depends. It depends what type of businesses you're in. What's fun about online is that it's really easy. There's not a lot of cost associated. You don't have to rent a space. You don't have to drive somewhere. So you can do it from your house. You can do it from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection and a tool like a laptop or a phone. So that's really easy for people to get clients. So what I would do first of all is to really get clear on what's the problem that you're going to fix for that person, and then turn it into an offer, like turn it into something attractive. One of my advice would be, don't try to fix too many problems at the same time. Don't try to bring all the solution, just focus on one thing that you're going to be really good at fixing, and then find people that needs that solution and go from there. Like you can expand from there. But if you're trying to solve everything at the same time, you're never going to become really, really good at one thing. And when you become really, really good at one thing, then that's when you become the expert. And when you become the expert at the thing, you get the expert paycheck. And that's when you can start scaling and building your business around it.
And then from my experience, like many women who are keen to start their own business, and men's as well, they cannot get that clarity about one thing. So they always, I have 5 or 6 or 10. How actually to define which one is the best to start with?
It has to be the one that you're most passionate about, like really like the one that for you it's going to be easy because you're passionate about it and you're also knowledgeable about it and you're credible about it. So if you've been doing something for like look at Marie Kondo. I don't know if you guys remember it. There is such a hype around her, and she's basically a housekeeper that helps you organize your closet, and she makes millions of dollars doing that. But she monetized on what she was good at. She was good. She loved organization, and she loved like putting things in order, and she turned it into a business. It's probably like, it sounds silly when you think of it. Like, how is she making millions of dollars to reorganize people's closet? But that's what she did because she was really good at something, and she decided to turn it into a service, and then it went from there. But she didn't say like, oh, I'm going to be good at organizing your closet and cooking food for you and walking your dog and cleaning your car. Like, she didn't like fix all those issues. She just fixed one. And she's $1 million person. Like, she has multi-million dollars in her business now. So I think that's some food for thoughts for people that are multi-passionate. It's okay to be multi-passionate, but start with one thing. You cannot begin at Tony Robbins. You need to begin here like everybody else, and then you learn more about yourself and what your clients needs, and then you grow your reputation, and then you can add more services to your shelf, but you start with one.
And also one question which I usually receive from the female entrepreneurs who are just starting their own business. Ed, I'm just in front of computer and it's only me and computer. How can I make millions just from my room? So they don't have this kind of belief in themselves that that's possible. So can you share what kind of practice, what they can do to actually overcome that fear that, yeah, that's possible because you have actually access to the people, access to the market?
Well, I don't know about making a million along with a computer. Like I have 9 people working for me now, and without them, I would not be where I am today, because you cannot do everything, especially the more you get clients, the more you need help outsourcing things that you don't have to do because your clients become your priority. But I started 10 years ago. What I was doing is I was helping businesses get visible on Instagram before business profiles were a thing on, it was not existent back then on Instagram. And I was helping them turn their Instagram page into something for marketing. And I remember the newspaper asking me question like, how can we interview you? That's such a weird way of marketing your business. And now everybody markets on Instagram. Like it's not even a thing anymore. Like if you don't do it, you're dumb now. But anyway, so I started by doing that, but I just found something that I enjoyed doing and that nobody else was doing. And then I decided to offer it to people, like my network, and from word of mouth, people would come to me. And then I got tired of doing that. So I started, oh, I know my clients need help with something else. So let's say copywriting. So I'm going to start like teaching them how to do copywriting well, because their Instagram is good, but it doesn't convert because their captions are not good, for example. So then I started doing that on top of it. And then I added services, and now I do a lot of things, but I started with one problem that I was fixing.
And is it possible to start by yourself, or is it good to have some mentor or some community who is actually supporting you from the beginning?
I think that there's free information everywhere. The problem with that is that it's not always up to date, and sometimes it's gonna, like, there's a lot of information and there's a lot of strategies, and sometimes you're just going to be overwhelmed with information and strategies, and it's not going to work out, not because it's not good strategy, it's just because you're trying everything at the same time. That's why when I work with my clients, we focus on one strategy at a time, and then we test it, and then if it doesn't convert, we ask ourselves, like, why is it not converting? We're not just like, oh, like, let's jump from one train to another. Like, that's not how it works. You need to focus on one thing at a time. So yes, you can have free information. I give a lot of free information. However, it's never going to be the same support than if someone works with me or is in my community or is in my mastermind. Of course, those type of information you pay. And to pick a brain of a mentor, like to have the chance to pick my brain, it's not free. However, you can follow my content and get a lot of tips, and if you take notes, then you're going to be able to implement it. So even if you don't have the money to invest right now into your business in terms of mentorship or coaching, you can still learn from all the free sources online. Everybody's giving away a lot of free value, so you should take advantage of that. But I think that it should be in your plans and in your budget to think about, okay, this is the mentor I want to work with. This is how much I need to save, and start planning for it, because it's going to help you skyrocket your business, and it's going to help you shortcut your way to success.
And all successful business model online actually are based on the community business model. So what will be your advice for the women who have like 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 followers, but they don't know how to monetize that fans in people who might be prospects and potential clients for the offer?
Well, yeah, because, okay, so it's hard to give an answer for that, because it really depends on what niche are the person in. There's people with a lot of followers, but they're just acting like influencers. So like, unless they get brand deals and partnerships, they're not going to make money. However, you can turn something that you know, like a knowledge that you have, into an online course or an ebook or a program or a service and make money. I had a client, for example, she grew her Instagram to 300,000 people. she makes $25,000 a month with brand partnership right now with her Instagram. And we decided that, oh, it's time to start teaching people how to do the same. So now we're creating a course for her to be able to add an extra income, but also answer all the questions that people send her on Instagram, like how did you get to, I guess, your Instagram that high. So now she's going to fix a problem, and by fixing that problem to her followers, she's going to make more money as well. So that's the way you have to think, like, what are your followers interested in, first of all? Because if you have a fashion Instagram full of people, don't try to sell like how to cook apples, because probably nobody cares about it. You need to make sure it's relevant to the people following you as well.
Okay, so once when they have a clarity and when they have value, which are people willing to actually buy from them, and they start making money, and that's everything changed from the start point of view. So they start making money, and as a woman, how is difficult or how it easy to find the right partner to scale your business? Because you mentioned like everything is about scale once when you have money for yourself, but then you need team. And for the people who don't know how to build team, what would be your suggestion?
Well, that's something I teach in my Digital Shiny Objects Mastermind. So basically, a few of the things that you have to keep in mind, first of all, is who to hire next. Always hire stuff that are taking a lot of your time and energy, but are not bringing in money. So think about, okay, so if it takes me 10 hours a week to do this, if I outsource it, how much is it going to cost me? And then if I have those 10 hours free to myself, what am I going to do with those 10 hours? And how much am I going to make with those free 10 hours? If I'm able to do 10 hours of networking or 10 hours of sales calls, am I going to make $10,000 with those hours and pay $200 to outsource those 10 hours to a virtual assistant, for example? Then you're making $9,000 profit. So it depends on that, but always keep in mind, is it costing me money to do it, or should I like outsource it? Because sometimes it's going to be more expensive for you to do it rather than pay someone to do it.
And what do you think about when is a good time to start to think about advertisement once when you have a maybe social proof?
When it converts. So for example, if you're selling a online course and nobody buys it, don't put ads. It's not gonna sell more. Like, you're just gonna lose your money. But then when you see people are buying it and it's an easy sell, the funnel that you create converts, people are interested in it, you get questions, you get testimonials, you get social proof, like you said, then you can start putting money into ads and split test your ad campaign to make even more money. But don't go and put ads right away, because you don't even know if people are interested in it. You don't even know if your copy on your sales page is converting. So you need to test the funnel before you put money into ads.
And do you recommend to hire some copywriter or some freelancer who can do the graphic design, or people can find tools and doing by themselves?
Well, it depends on the budget that people have, for sure. Copywriter, not necessarily. My favorite tip with that would be to really ask, like, jump on a call with your ideal client, ask them questions, and then use their own words in your copy, because then they're gonna read your copy and think like, oh my God, this sounds like me, because it is her. That's like exactly what's in her head. And that's why she's like, oh my God, this is created for me, because that's your ideal client's words that you're using instead of some fancy words from a copywriter. I'm not saying copywriting is not a good thing. I have copywriters sometimes, but I know that I'm going in the head of my client. I know my client by heart, and I know what she needs to hear to be convinced to do something. So that's one of the things. The second, graphic design. Well, if like, there's like websites like canva.com where you can use and create your own design for free if you're a little bit skilled with that. If you're really not skilled like me, hire someone, because then it looks more professional. I would not, like, no, I could never do anything myself when it comes to graphic design, so I'm not even wasting a minute.
And also, like, lives are becoming very popular, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and stories as well. And some women, they're struggling with a fear of how can I talk 30 minutes, 1 hour about some topic, who is going to listen to me. So in terms of the building the community by using Facebook Live, what do you think is that good way to start online business, or is better to start with maybe some blog, maybe some podcast, or with... Mhm.
Podcast needs, you need to have an audience already to have a podcast. Really, like, the best way to connect to your audience is video, because they can see your energy, they can see like how the way you talk, and then if they connect with you, then they're going to be more interested into you. It's normal. That's it's like having a coffee with someone. It's way easier to connect with someone if you see the person, rather than reading something that doesn't sound personal because you don't hear the person talk. But it doesn't mean that content, like, you can also repurpose your content. You can create content with your interviews and then turn it into blogs and stuff like that. So there's no limits. Like, you can do it all.
And what is the feeling once when you start to make like a couple of $1,000s per week or per month? Is that change your completely your lifestyle, or you are the same M as 10 years ago?
I'm the same M. No, I've always been the same M. I don't think I can change. I don't think money changes you. I think money puts the spotlight on who you really are as a person. So if you're a person that's greedy and materialistic and you have money, you're gonna be even more so. But I'm a farm girl. I grew up on a farm. I'm a very natural person. It didn't change anything. When I make money, I invest it to make more money. I never go shopping. I don't like, well, I'm not gonna say never. I do sometimes, but I'm not interested into like fancy things. I like nice things, but I don't like to pile up things because I'm very minimalist. So I think it doesn't change anyone. I think it just gives more power to who you really are right now. So if you're someone that has negative traits, then it's just going to be bigger.
And how about your friends, your network, people who surrounding you? Like, once when you start to be very famous or very successful, is that have you realized that they change how they treat you? They think, oh, how she can be so successful? Maybe I'm not good enough. Or do you think once when you start to change your income, that you also change your network, or is not connected?
No, because actually I don't even think my family knows what I do for a living, to be honest. But even if I would tell them, they wouldn't understand. We don't talk about business, and with my friends, when I'm with my friends, we don't talk about business either. I do my things, and I don't talk. Like, if my friend is a car salesman, I'm not gonna go and like, oh, how many cars did you sell this week? Like, we just don't talk about it. I've been having the same friends forever, so I don't really change my circle in terms of people, and it's the same. Nothing has changed.
Okay, and how that affects your relationship with the men? So is they because like that's also important factor, like how success impact our private life. So can you share some insights about that?
That's a good question. I don't really date. I've been with the same person for a long time, so I don't, and all my boyfriends have always been very successful, so and very confident, because that's a trait that I'm attracted to. So it's never been something that was a problem with me, but I see it for some of my friends. Some guys can be feeling threatened, or they feel like they're not important enough anymore. That happens, but that doesn't happen when you're with someone that's really confident into themselves, and that's something that I look for into a partner. So I think it depends on who you're dating.
Brilliant. And for all women and for all people who are watching this video, what will be the easiest way to reach out to you and to maybe go and work with you to learn about the pillar?
I'm going to give you guys a link if you want to try Zero to CEO Society for free. I'm going to give a 14 days free trial. And then if you decide it's not the fit for you after trying it out, then you can opt out, and there's no billing that's going to be associated with it. And you can also go on my website, zerotoceo.co, where you can find my quiz, my free course, and my social media accounts.
And they can be like from any part of the world?
Anywhere. We
Anywhere.
got every type of people.
And is that on one-on-one, or you're also working with the groups at the same time?
So Zero to CEO is not one-on-one. It's a community. It's a library of trainings for everything that you need to know that's pre-recorded. And then every month there's a guest expert that comes in to teach something. Like for example, this month it was a money coach who came in and taught about money mindset. And every month I create a workshop and the people vote for the workshop. So for example, I gave 3 options, and this month I'm going to create a workshop around email marketing, how to create a content for 1 month of email marketing in your business. And every Monday I open a thread for Q&A. So whenever someone has a question, then I come in and I answer and I help people one-on-one within the threads.
Okay, so basically they can be part of the community, and then they can choose which course they want to take, who they want to listen. But what about they want to work with you directly? Is that also?
I'm not taking any one-on-one clients right now. It's not in 2020. It's only going to be group setting for 2020. But the best way to be in my energy, if people are interested in, is really to be in the group, and then be on the lookout for when I launch my mastermind in April, because then there's going to be a few options that are in between one-on-one and mastermind, like mastermind with one-on-one support.
And do you have any retreat session, like some event where people actually can see you in a person?
Yeah, I'm going to do a retreat this fall, probably in Canada, because the fall is gorgeous here, like with all the colors. So that's in the plan. It's not yet announced, but it's in the plans.
Excellent. Please keep us updated in our group. Once we have a retreat for all people who want to visit Canada in autumn 2020, that's the place to go.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your 4 pillars, your success. And I would like to invite all people who are watching this video. M is a real evidence how you can build your empire from scratch, from zero with nothing, and how you can become millionaire or billionaire, depends on your financial goals and your vision. So everything is possible. You just need to have the system on the place and people who know how to do it. And definitely M is one of them. And thank you, and wish you a gorgeous 2020. Please be free to share your offers, your content with our community. Yeah. We are here to support female entrepreneurs in over 66 countries. And I'm so happy that you are with us and that you have a great success. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.